Soft winds carry us to a realm where time stretches like golden silk. Here, in the quiet spaces between stars and clouds, the echoes of gods and titans linger, whispering their ancient tales. Tonight, we drift gently into a world where celestial battles shape the heavens, yet the story flows like a calm river, inviting our hearts to rest. Let us wander slowly through the mythic wars of old, where divine light and shadow meet, and the struggles of gods are more than conflict. They are the dance of creation itself. Each tale moves softly, painting skies with gentle fire and oceans with quiet power. As your eyes grow heavy, let the voices of ancient spirits guide you. We will journey together through 100 sacred struggles, feeling their lessons and beauty, until sleep wraps around you like a silken veil. If these stories ease your mind, subscribe to drift with us again. Share in the comments where you're listening from tonight, and let the universe hear your gentle presence. Soft winds move through a world not yet shaped, carrying the faint scent of stone and rain. The sky rests in a delicate hush, painted with the first hints of dawn that seem to linger forever. Mountains rise quietly in the distance, their peaks brushing against clouds that drift like silken veils. Here, in the stillness before the world fully awakens, the titans stir. They rise not with clamor or force, but with a slow, deliberate grace. Their forms shimmer in the morning mist, tall and serene, as though the earth itself breathed them into being. You float gently among them, feeling the calm pulse of the ground beneath, each step a whisper of eternity. Light glances off their skin like soft gold, and shadows stretch lazily across the valleys, weaving a gentle tapestry of calm and warmth. The air carries a quiet vibration, the subtle hum of a universe at its first awakening. Each breath you take is mingled with the breath of these ancient beings. They are not yet in conflict. Their energy is raw, full of potential, like water waiting to spill from a high cliff into a still river below. You sense the first stirrings of movement, the gentle brushing of forces that will one day collide. But for now, the world is soft, waiting, and infinite. A distant drum beats faintly, like the echo of a heart that belongs to the sky. It is slow and steady, and with it comes the feeling of beginnings. The titans move with purpose that is more feeling than thought. One stretches a hand toward the rising sun, its fingertips caressing the warmth that drifts like honey across the land. Another tilts its head, listening to the sighing winds that carry voices from mountains far away. Even as their shapes shift, there is a tender patience in their movement, a quiet knowing that the world is unfolding exactly as it should. Soft rivers wind between the mountains, reflecting their immense forms in gentle silver light. The water is calm, carrying with it the first murmurs of thought, memory, and life. You drift above the river, noticing the tiny ripples that spread from stone to stone. They mirror the invisible currents of the Titan's energy, an unseen rhythm that connects sky to earth, breath to breath. Every ripple, every shimmer is a lullaby sung to the sleeping world. In the distance, clouds gather lightly, brushing one another with whispering softness. A haze of golden light dances between them, spilling down onto the fields below. Flowers, unseen but sensed, turn gently toward this early glow. Even the smallest blades of grass sway as if in acknowledgement of the Titan's presence. You feel the serenity of it, a quiet acceptance that even the vastest of powers can move without noise, without haste. The Titan's eyes are deep pools of memory, reflecting not just themselves but the beginnings of all things. You look upon them and see gentle storms, quiet rivers, and the faintest trace of first stars glimmering in spaces that have yet to exist. Their breaths rise and fall with the land, and with each inhalation, the world seems to stretch just a little wider. You float through their gaze, feeling the calm assurance that growth, creation, and even the tiniest stirrings of conflict can exist without harm, in the soft cradle of time. A low, rolling mist curls around their ankles, softening every step, muffling every sound. You move with the mist, gliding over gentle hills, feeling the peace it carries. Here, nothing demands attention, nothing presses forward. Even as the first whispers of tension flicker across the heavens, They are gentle, like a breeze touching the surface of a quiet lake. There is no rush, no sharpness, only the sense that the world is preparing softly and deliberately for the moments that will come. Above, the sky stretches in quiet gradations of peach, lavender, and silver. Light dances slowly on the edges of clouds, forming shapes that seem almost alive. You notice a faint shimmer, a soft flicker, as if the heavens themselves are breathing. The titans move beneath this light, their forms reflecting its gentle glow. Every gesture seems infused with calm strength. Even their first attempts at testing one another, the soft brushing of power, feels like a lullaby, reminding the world that even force can be tender. The land itself seems to respond to the Titan's presence. Stones shift gently, rolling into new shapes with barely a whisper. Trees sway, leaves brushing softly against one another as if to murmur approval. Rivers bend slightly, glinting in the morning light as if catching a secret. Everything moves in a slow, deliberate rhythm, in harmony with the Titans, who move neither hurriedly nor aggressively. You feel the quiet pulse of life in every corner, a rhythm that resonates through your body, inviting a slow, steady breath. From the far mountains, a faint glow begins to emerge. It is not fire, not light, but something more subtle, an awakening energy that spreads like soft candlelight across the valleys. The Titans turn toward it, their faces reflecting curiosity and gentle wonder. There is no urgency in their gaze. Instead, they seem to feel the possibilities held in this new light, acknowledging the delicate balance of beginnings. You drift closer, carried by the breeze, feeling the quiet warmth touch your cheeks, calming every thought, every worry, every tension. In this early world, even whispers are sacred. The Titans speak with the softest hums, words that are felt rather than heard. You float beside these murmurs, sensing stories of creation, of time, of skis yet to be shaped. Their voices are like water over pebbles, soothing, constant, steady. You notice that even the smallest echo carries weight, not of judgment or power, but of care and understanding. It is a rhythm that invites your mind to slow, to match the gentle packing of the world around you. The horizon bends softly, golden light spilling like a quiet blessing across valleys and rivers. You drift above the land, feeling the ease of movement, the softness of air, the gentle pull of gravity as if it too is aware of this sacred morning. The Titan's movements continue in quiet exploration, stretching, turning, observing, but always with restraint, always with peace. They are both creators and caretakers, their power immense yet tender, their presence a lullaby for the earth and for your mind. Time here moves differently, as if measured in breaths and ripples rather than minutes or hours. The Titans shift, and the world shifts with them. Mountains lean slightly, clouds stretch lazily, rivers curve gently around stones. Even the winds move with soft intention, brushing across the skin with the faintest caress. You feel yourself sink deeper into this rhythm, letting the slow heartbeat of creation guide your own. And then quietly, the first whispers of the heavens begin to stir. They are not storms, not fear, not anger, but gentle hints of what might come. A subtle tension, like a cord held softly in the hands, stretches across the sky. You notice it, but there is no alarm, only an understanding that even beginnings carry promise and potential. The Titans acknowledge this unseen presence with calm grace, their movements unaffected, their energy steady. You feel the lesson of their patience, a soft truth that even in the face of what is unknown, peace can remain. The light continues to deepen, spilling warm tones across the land, touching mist and stone, water and leaf. You float above a quiet river, seeing the reflection of Titans bending gently, touching the water with fingertips that ripple into eternity. Their gaze meets yours, and you feel a connection that is neither demanding nor urgent, only soft and embracing. In this presence, even the smallest ripple feels meaningful, a reminder that the world moves gently, patiently, like a lullaby sung across time. As the morning stretches endlessly, the Titans begin to settle. Their steps slow, their gestures soften. The winds carry the faint echo of their hums, vibrating softly across mountains and rivers, whispering into every tree, every blade of grass, every stone. You feel the calm of it, the steady rhythm of beginnings flowing through your body, soothing your mind. You drift in this peace, carried gently by the breath of the earth, the quiet heartbeat of the titans, and the soft stirrings of light. Now rest as the stars return to their gentle memories, as the rivers carry the whispers of beginnings, and as the mist curls around all that is still. Let us drift onward, deeper into the quiet spaces of this world before time, where titans move with calm grace, and the dawn stretches slowly, endlessly, like a soft, eternal breath. The sky stretches softly, painted in pale blues and silvered gold, as if the horizon itself exhales a gentle sigh. You float quietly above a vast plain, where morning mist drifts like delicate threads over the grass. The land feels vast, endless, and yet intimate, as if it breathes in rhythm with your own heart. Here, in this quiet hour, the first encounter of light and shadow begins, not with fury but with soft curiosity, a gentle testing of edges and possibilities. The gods appear like ripples of wind through tall grass, their forms shimmering in the tender glow. Light clings to some, casting faint halos that ripple across the dew-kissed ground. Shadow gathers around others, flowing like soft velvet over hills and valleys, carrying a weight that is calm, not harsh. You drift closer, noticing how neither force dominates. Instead, they circle each other with the grace of dancers, tracing invisible patterns across the landscape. A low murmur rises from the earth, almost imperceptible, like distant drums carried on a slow breeze. Each beat seems to echo the pulse of the world itself, reminding you that even beginnings carry a rhythm. The gods step carefully, testing the air, their gestures gentle yet purposeful. A hand stretches toward the horizon, light spilling from the fingertips, brushing softly against shadow that retreats only slightly, responding as if in a quiet conversation. Rivers shimmer in response, catching the dance of illumination and darkness in their still surfaces. You float above one such river, watching the reflection bend and fold like liquid silk. The movements of light and shadow ripple through the water, gentle, rhythmic, hypnotic. Fish stir lazily beneath the surface, their scales catching flickers of the first glow, then sinking again into the deeper currents of cool shade. Even the smallest ripple seems sacred, as if the river itself remembers every motion of the gods above. Trees sway gently as shadows sweep past, their leaves brushing together in a quiet murmur. The light caresses branches, tracing the edges of bark and leaf, and in the faint rustle, you sense whispers of old stories, of beginnings long before the present moment. The gods do not hurry. They do not strike. Instead, their movements are soft explorations, each touch of energy measured and mindful. You drift closer to feel the hum, the quiet warmth that surrounds every gesture, every shift, every soft clash of power. Above, clouds drift in lazy arcs, tinted with hues of rose and lavender. Each cloud seems to pause and breathe, as if sensing the delicate balance of the scene below. Light touches their edges and shadow flows beneath them, meeting and parting in a quiet rhythm. You notice the gentle trembling in the air, not a storm, not a clash, but a vibration that carries the first hints of tension, softened by patience and stillness. Even the breeze moves slowly, tracing paths across your skin like a soft lullaby. The first whispers of thunder roll in the distance, barely audible like soft echoes from a mountain far away. It is not frightening. It is a reminder that power, even at its beginning, has weight and presence. Light flickers across the plains, touching stones, grasses, and the delicate wings of unseen insects. Shadow moves like a slow tide, flowing beneath the hills, wrapping them in quiet comfort. Together, they perform a dance that is both gentle and full of potential, and you float in the center of it, feeling the lull of the rhythm against your chest. The gods raise their hands, allowing currents of energy to swirl between them. Sparks of light and threads of shadow meet in midair, coiling softly, never striking with violence. Each movement is a whisper, a gentle touch, an acknowledgement of the presence of the other. You drift among these currents, feeling them brush against your skin like warm silk and cool velvet simultaneously. There is a soft pulse in the air, a heartbeat carried by wind and cloud. connecting you to the slow unfolding of this quiet confrontation. Rivers bend with the motion, catching reflections of light and shadow in their surfaces. You follow one river as it winds gently through the landscape, noticing how each ripple mirrors the divine dance above. Stones sit quietly along the banks, untouched yet aware, as if the land itself is listening. The hum of the earth grows faintly louder here, the resonance of energy touching both water and stone, carrying a gentle reminder that even clash can be serene. Birds rise softly from hidden groves, their wings brushing air that is thick with calm energy. They glide between beams of light and pools of shadow, carrying reflections of both in their feathers. You watch them spiral upward, their movements fluid, as if guiding you through the quiet story that unfolds in the sky. Every flap is deliberate, every glide effortless. Even the smallest creatures seem attuned to the rhythms of the gods, and you sense that the world holds its breath, following the same soft cadence. In a valley hidden beneath silvered clouds, a titan rises slowly, feeling the presence of both forces. Light wraps around its shoulders, shadow drapes over its back, and the balance between them hums quietly through its bones. Its movements are unhurried, its energy a gentle tide of awareness. You drift closer and sense the tender deliberation in every gesture. There is no rush, no desire to overpower, only the soft curiosity of what each side might offer, the calm test of harmony and contrast. Mountains echo softly as the first brushes of divine energy sweep across their slopes. Stones shift slightly, leaves tremble, and streams ripple in perfect response. Even the wind pauses, carrying the faint scent of earth and water, of light and quiet shadow, reminding you that everything participates in the unfolding moment. You feel it too, a gentle slowing of your own breath, a softening of thought, a drifting deeper into the lull of presence and awareness. The air carries a faint shimmer, like sunlight on water at dawn. Light and shadow swirl in arcs that seem endless, coiling around hills and valleys, spinning gently above trees and rivers. You follow a ribbon of this energy as it bends through the sky, brushing across clouds and touching the land in soft, deliberate strokes. Each movement is quiet, each gesture slow, and in this gentle rhythm, even the potential of conflict feels safe, full of wonder rather than alarm. The gods step carefully, brushing palms against the invisible currents. Sparks of light flare softly against threads of shadow, each one melting immediately into the next. You feel the warmth, the subtle coolness, the tender touch of forces meeting without friction. It is a lullaby of balance, a meditation of beginnings, a story told not with words but with gentle motion. You drift among these threads, carried on the soft waves of energy, your mind slowing, your heart steadying, your body sinking deeper into comfort. Above, clouds part slightly, revealing hints of a pale sun. Light spills across the valley, touching shadow with a warmth that does not burn, a soft caress that blends the edges of contrast. The titans and gods pause, their forms reflected in rivers and stones, in the soft shimmer of leaves and the quiet ripple of air. They breathe with the world, inhaling, exhaling, allowing energy to flow freely. You feel the same pulse, the same rhythm, a gentle reminder that even beginnings of tension carry the gift of calm understanding. And as the sun rises just enough to touch the peaks of the mountains, the first clash of light settles into a quiet harmony. Currents of energy mingle without strain. The world hums softly, rivers whispering reflections, stones resonating with calm, leaves sighing in gentle approval. You drift above it all, floating in a space where even movement feels like lullaby, where every ripple and shimmer invites slow breathing, where presence itself becomes a soft, steady comfort. Now rest as the echoes of light and shadow mingle in gentle accord. Let the soft currents of the heavens carry your mind into calm dreams. Let the rivers of reflection guide you, and let the stars return, watching over the land with quiet patience. Drift onward, deeper into the story, where every breath, every sigh, every shimmer of light and shadow moves in slow, soothing rhythm, cradling you into sleep. The horizon stretches endlessly, painted in silver and soft hues of twilight, where the sky kisses the calm waters of a celestial sea. You float above, carried by a gentle breeze, feeling the cool air brush your skin. The ocean below shimmers with quiet light, each wave catching the glow of unseen stars, each ripple a gentle heartbeat of the universe. Above the water, the gods glide silently upon ethereal vessels, their forms mirrored in the still sea below. The sails drift like whispers, pale and translucent, catching the soft glow of moonlight that spills over the waves. You drift beside them, sensing their quiet thoughts, their dreams and fears woven into the gentle motion of the water. Everything moves with tender grace, as if the oceans themselves breathe with the rhythm of the divine. A faint murmur rises from the waves, soft as a lullaby carrying echoes of past moments, long-forgotten conversations and distant battles. Yet these echoes are not harsh or alarming. They are whispers of memory carried on a tide of serenity. You watch the water bend and ripple, reflecting the skies above, reflecting the tender glances of gods who do not speak but communicate in silence, in the slow sway of their gestures. Each wave flows softly, curling and uncurling with an elegant ease. Light glimmers on the crests, shadow pools in the troughs, and together they form a quiet conversation. The gods reach their hands toward these waves, fingertips brushing the surface. Each touch sends faint ripples of energy outward, gently touching distant shores, caressing the hidden corners of the seas. You drift among these ripples, feeling the warmth of connection, the calm that arises when motion is deliberate and mindful. Above, clouds glide lazily, mirrored in the water below. Their reflections dance across the surface, stretching and folding like silk. The air smells faintly of salt and moonlight, a quiet perfume that settles into your chest and exhales with each breath. You notice small lights flickering beneath the waves, like glimpses of hidden stars, carrying messages from beneath the surface. Every flicker feels sacred, like a gentle pulse reminding you that even in stillness, life and magic stir. The gods' faces are serene, eyes reflecting both the moon above and the deep waters below. You sense that they see more than the world's surface. They witness currents of thought and emotion, dreams that float like tiny boats on the ocean, fears that drift slowly beneath, never rushing, never striking. You drift closer, carried by the soft hum of waves, feeling the gentle reassurance that even shadows, even hesitation, have a place in this luminous expanse. Faint stars begin to appear in the sky, each one mirrored in the water's surface. They twinkle softly, neither bright nor harsh, and seem to speak of infinite patience. The gods pause, gazing at these reflections, their movements slow, deliberate, careful. The sea responds, waves curling gently around their vessels, whispering back to them in a language older than thought. You drift alongside, letting the rhythm of light and water guide your breath. Each inhale and exhale a wave in harmony with the universe. A soft breeze stirs, carrying the distant scent of rain from clouds far beyond the horizon. It brushes your skin with faint coolness, moving across the vessels and the ocean alike. The gods lean into it, letting the wind guide their sails, letting the currents shape their path. You float among them, feeling the gentle sway, the rocking of the waves beneath, the slow, peaceful movement that eases every thought, softening every muscle. Above the distant horizon, faint whispers of light and shadow intertwine. You notice how the gods respond, not with haste, not with force, but with delicate curiosity. Fingers trail across the air, touching strands of glow, brushing against shadows as if testing their edges. Each interaction sends soft ripples across the celestial seas, waves curling gently, carrying memory and quiet lessons from distant battles long past. You drift through these ripples, feeling a soft resonance in your chest, a reminder that even tension can be tender when observed with care. A quiet shimmer runs along the surface of the water, reflecting the gods' movements. You notice the waves bending slightly, echoing every subtle gesture, every stretch of a hand, every soft sway of a vessel. Small creatures, unseen yet felt, stir beneath the waves. Fish glide slowly, their scales catching faint sparks of light. Seaweed sways like slow dancers, each movement in gentle response to the currents above. The entire ocean seems aware of this soft interaction, breathing in time with the gods and with you. The air hums faintly with a quiet energy. You float higher, looking down upon the endless stretch of luminous water. Moonlight spills across it in wide bands, casting gentle shadows that move in rhythm with the undulating waves. The gods pause occasionally, lifting their hands to trace invisible patterns across the air, and each gesture sends faint spirals of light across the surface. You feel these spirals brush against your skin like soft silk, soothing every thought, quieting every tension. Clouds gather in delicate arches, reflecting the pale glow of distant stars. The celestial seas carry their mirror image perfectly, bending and folding in a quiet ballet. You notice how even the smallest ripple from a passing wave becomes part of a larger dance, each motion blending seamlessly with the next. The gods glide through this scene as if they are part of a slow, endless hymn, their movements soft, their presence a lullaby. Occasionally, a faint murmur rises from the depths of the ocean, like a memory of battles fought long before. The sounds are gentle, not alarming. You drift closer to listen, feeling the soft vibration pass through your chest like a heartbeat shared with the world. The gods reach toward the water, fingertips tracing the currents, and the echoes settle into the surface, spreading out in gentle rings. You float in these rings, feeling yourself carried, cradled by the soft energy, rocked by the infinite calm of the seas. Above, the first hints of dawn begin to tinge the horizon with gentle peach and rose. The light bends softly across waves and clouds, reflecting on the gods' vessels and the water's surface. Shadows retreat slowly, curling beneath the waves, while light stretches tenderly across the oceans, touching every ripple, every hidden fold, every silent creature below. You drift in this moment, feeling the steady rhythm of the seas match the gentle rise and fall of your own breath. The celestial waters seem endless, carrying both reflection and dream. The gods sail with measured care, feeling every swell, every whisper of wind, every quiet pulse beneath the surface. Their eyes reflect a calm curiosity, watching both the surface of the water and the unseen depths below. You notice the subtle shifts in light and shadow, the quiet bends in the waves, and feel the lesson of still patience, of gentle observation. Each moment is a meditation, every ripple a soft note in a lullaby of existence. A soft mist rises from the oceans, curling around the vessels, glinting in the first morning light. It carries the scent of distant rain, of moonlight, of unseen flowers. You float among this mist, feeling it brush your skin, carrying away every trace of worry, every lingering thought. The gods continue their gentle journey, hands brushing the air and water, creating arcs of calm energy that echo across the oceans. You drift in these echoes, sinking deeper into peace, letting your mind and body settle into the rhythm of the seas. The waves carry faint echoes of battles far away, yet these echoes feel more like whispers of memory than conflict. Each wave murmurs softly, blending with light and shadow in a quiet harmony. You float above the water, tracing the gentle spirals of energy, feeling each one brush against your consciousness with the tender weight of understanding. Even tension itself becomes soft, as if the universe teaches that all beginnings, all conflicts, all struggles can exist within a cradle of calm. The sky brightens slowly, pale gold spreading across the horizon, spilling warmth into every ripple of the celestial sea. The gods glide onward, their vessels drifting with the current, moving neither fast nor slow, only with the gentle certainty of purpose. You drift with them, carried by the motion, carried by the hum of wind and water, carried by the quiet strength of patience. Every ripple, every glimmer of light, every fold of shadow becomes a soft thread in the fabric of calm that wraps around you. Now rest, as the celestial seas stretch into infinite light and shadow. Let the gentle waves carry your thoughts. Let the moon and stars reflect your calm, and let the whispers of the gods lull you deeper into quiet sleep. Let us drift onward, through luminous waters and soft horizons, into the tender embrace of dreams, where even the vastness of the ocean moves gently, rocking the spirit with endless peace. The forest breathes softly beneath the silver light of dawn, each tree rising like a sentinel from the quiet earth. You drift slowly along a narrow path, where moss cushions each step, and the scent of damp wood and leaves wraps around your senses like a gentle shawl. The air is cool and still, carrying whispers of hidden life, the quiet hum of spirits unseen but present. Sunlight filters through the thick canopy, falling in soft, scattered beams that touch the ground in warm patches. Dust motes float lazily, drifting like tiny lanterns. You follow them with your eyes, drifting among the trees, feeling the gentle rhythm of the forest, a quiet pulse that matches your own breath. Here, even silence speaks, and every shadow is soft, nurturing, and calm. The gods move through the trees with a grace that is slow and deliberate. They do not disturb the forest, but their presence bends the light and air around them, stirring leaves with a whisper of wind. You watch as they test their quiet powers, extending fingers toward ancient trunks, letting energy ripple gently through bark and root. The forest responds, each tree bending slightly, leaves brushing against one another in subtle acknowledgement. Even the smallest branches seem to murmur stories of patience and enduring strength. A distant stream runs through the woods, its waters clear and cool. You float above it, noticing how it curves around stones, carrying the reflection of the gods' soft movements. The surface ripples with the touch of leaves and the gentle breeze, echoing the quiet play of light and shadow in the forest. You feel the serenity of the water, its gentle flow carrying the unseen lessons of the land. Even the smallest pebble under the stream seems aware, holding memory of every ripple that passes. The gods' faces are calm, their eyes reflecting the intricate tapestry of the forest. You sense their thoughts moving like the wind, soft, careful, attuned to the rhythm of nature. Each step they take sends subtle vibrations through the soil, soft pulses that the trees, the moss, and the hidden creatures beneath feel as gentle conversation. No movement is hurried, no gesture is abrupt. All is deliberate, full of care, and in this, the forest itself seems to exhale, breathing with the same slow, gentle rhythm. Above, the canopy sways in response, leaves brushing one another softly, creating faint murmurs like whispered tales. You drift with the sound, feeling the stories weave through your mind, settling tension and quieting thought. The gods reach toward branches, tracing light along the veins of leaves, testing the currents of hidden energy that pulse through roots and stone. The forest does not resist. It responds with the same soft grace, allowing a delicate dance of power to unfold quietly, invisibly, and always with patience. Small creatures stir in the underbrush, aware yet undisturbed. Birds lift gently into the air, their wings brushing the soft currents created by the gods' movement. Each rustle, each whisper of life, feels like part of the same quiet hymn. You float among them, carried by their subtle motion, noticing how every life is attentive yet calm, how every sound contributes to the steady, soothing rhythm of the forest. Even the faintest insect hum blends into this quiet symphony, guiding your breath to slow and deepen. Moss carpets the ground like soft velvet, and you drift along it, feeling the gentle give beneath your presence. Roots curl beneath, sending faint energy upward, connecting every tree, stone, and creature into a delicate network of calm. The gods kneel or stretch toward these hidden threads, touching the unseen currents, letting power flow gently without forcing or breaking. You sense that this energy carries the memory of countless quiet struggles, resolved softly, without strife, in the patient heartbeat of the world. Light shifts slowly, tracing patterns across the forest floor. Shafts of gold highlight patches of flowers, their petals trembling in the soft wind. You notice how the gods' movements cast shadows that dance among the trunks, shadows that bend gently, never harsh, never sharp. The rhythm of light and dark feels like breathing, each inhalation soft, each exhalation slow, carrying you deeper into a calm awareness of the present moment. A small waterfall murmurs in the distance, its sound clear and soothing. You drift toward it, feeling the vibrations move through the forest floor, through roots and stones, through the soft hum of air. The gods pause, letting the sound wash over them, fingers brushing the mist that rises in tiny veils above the pool. Each drop of water mirrors the light and shadow above, creating patterns that are infinite, soft, and ever-changing. You float beside the water, letting its quiet energy brush against your mind, dissolving tension, inviting slow, even breathing. The forest seems alive in its own secret way. Leaves turn subtly toward the gods, sensing their presence, and a faint glow runs along the veins of bark, like whispers of ancient memory. You notice the interplay of energy as light and shadow meet, not in conflict, but in soft conversation. Currents rise from roots and stones, tracing invisible lines through the air, connecting every living thing in delicate patterns of understanding. You drift among these lines, feeling each one touch your awareness like a gentle hand on your shoulder. A soft breeze carries the scent of earth, moss, and distant flowers, mingling with the faint coolness of shaded streams. It swirls around your face, brushing softly across your hair, across your shoulders, and you sense the quiet approval of the forest. Even the tiniest branches sway with gentle attention, carrying messages of endurance, patience, and quiet strength. The gods continue their careful exploration, testing currents of power that pulse beneath leaves and roots, never forcing, only observing, only feeling. Small animals stir briefly, squirrels, deer, and birds pausing, sensing the subtle energies without alarm. You float among them, noticing how the rhythm of life continues gently. Every step of a deer, every flutter of a bird's wing, every shift of moss beneath a paw seems part of the same slow, deliberate harmony. Even the unseen creatures underground, burrowing and resting, participate in the quiet dance, carrying threads of awareness that connect the forest in one soft, breathing whole. The gods reach toward the highest branches, brushing their fingertips across leaves that tremble in response. Energy ripples softly down trunks, into roots, into streams and moss, carrying gentle vibrations of patience and endurance. The forest itself seems to sigh, the sound soft as a distant drum, marking the passage of calm energy through every living thing. You feel the pulse in your chest, matching the quiet rhythm of the forest, aligning your breath with the soft heartbeat of creation. Above, light begins to shift, the canopy glowing faintly with hues of rose and gold. Shadows stretch across the forest floor, bending gracefully around the trunks, flowing into pools of quiet space. The gods move through these shifting currents, flowing with the rhythm rather than against it, their presence guiding the unseen energies without haste. You float through these patterns, carried on the soft waves of light, shadow, and unseen currents, feeling the gentle power of patience and understanding. Leaves fall occasionally, twirling slowly through the air, landing softly on moss and water. Each movement seems deliberate, each descent a meditation, a reminder that even endings can be gentle, even change can be calm. You drift among them, letting the motion cradle your awareness, letting the forest's slow breath settle every thought, quiet every tension, and carry you deeper into peaceful presence. The air shimmers faintly with energy that feels alive yet soft, weaving through the trunks and branches, tracing invisible arcs between every living thing. The gods step lightly along this network, letting it guide their movements. You float beside them, sensing each subtle pulse, feeling the calm integration of light, shadow, and life that moves like a slow river through the forest. Every breath becomes part of this flow, every heartbeat a quiet echo of the forest's enduring strength. Now rest as the forest folds into itself, leaves brushing gently in approval, streams carrying soft reflections, and roots holding memory of all that has passed. Let us drift onward, deeper into the quiet, where hidden powers move slowly and calmly, teaching through presence rather than sound, guiding the spirit into gentle, endless sleep. The horizon glows faintly, touched with pale gold and muted rose, as if the sky itself exhales a gentle warmth. You drift slowly above a vast landscape where mountains rise like silent guardians, their peaks touched by soft light. The air carries the scent of stone, smoke, and warmth, a quiet invitation to breathe slowly, to settle into the rhythm of creation. Far below, titans move among rivers of molten light, their forms luminous yet soft, their presence powerful but calm. Embers drift from their hands like tiny lanterns, falling gently to the ground and scattering across the landscape. Each spark carries energy not of fury, but of careful shaping, as if the act of creation itself hums quietly through the world. You drift among these sparks, feeling their warmth brush lightly against your skin, settling tension with gentle insistence. The Titan's motions are deliberate, measured, slow. Hands sweep across the sky, tracing arcs that stretch into soft, glowing ribbons. Mountains shift imperceptibly under their touch, stones rolling with a quiet murmur, carrying the memory of their care. You watch as peaks rise and fall, valleys curl and fold, and feel the rhythm of shaping, the soft pulse of transformation that does not rush but moves with patience. Above, smoke drifts lazily, curling in delicate spirals, illuminated by the faint glow of divine embers. Each tendril of light and warmth rises slowly, touching clouds that hang low over the mountains. The air carries a gentle vibration, like the hum of a distant bell, soft and steady, guiding every breath, every thought into calm alignment. You float alongside this mist, letting its heat and scent seep into your awareness, carrying a quiet sense of safety and wonder. Rivers of cooled lava weave through the valleys, reflecting the embers above in glimmering patterns. Their movement is slow, deliberate, a liquid mirror of the Titan's gestures. You drift above one such river, tracing its winding path, noticing how each ripple catches light in a gentle dance. Even the smallest stone along its bank seems to shine, touched by the careful rhythm of creation, reminding you that every detail carries quiet significance. The sky itself seems alive, shifting from muted rose to deep violet to soft indigo. Embers rise higher, drifting past clouds like fireflies in a serene twilight. The Titans lift their hands toward these drifting sparks, letting energy flow in soft arcs. You feel it ripple through the air, brushing past your awareness with a weightless caress, a reminder that even force can be gentle, and even change can arrive wrapped in calm. Soft winds carry faint echoes of movement, stones shifting, embers landing, clouds brushing against peaks. You drift among these sounds, letting each one settle into your chest, slow and deliberate. The Titans do not hurry. They shape and forge with quiet intention, guiding both stone and sky into forms that are strong yet fluid. Their power is tempered with patience, teaching through action rather than noise, showing that creation itself is a gentle rhythm, not a loud display. Small creatures stir cautiously along the edges of glowing rivers and warming stones, birds lifting softly into the air, insects tracing slow spirals through the heat, and tiny animals finding cool shadows beneath rocks. Even they seem attuned to the gentle hum of embers, moving with care and deliberation, carrying the quiet understanding that all presence is observed, yet all is safe. You drift alongside them, carried by the collective rhythm of calm energy. The Titans' faces glow softly, illuminated by the embers that rise around them. Their expressions are serene, focused, aware. They trace arcs across the mountains, sweep clouds into gentle folds, and their gestures leave ripples of warmth and light. You notice that each movement carries intention without haste, power without pressure, shaping not for destruction but for balance and beauty. You feel yourself exhale, matching the slow, even rhythm of their gestures, letting every worry soften and drift away. Rivers of light stretch across the landscape, spilling from the divine furnaces, flowing down mountainsides, pooling in quiet valleys. Each wave of warmth hums a gentle vibration, a lullaby of creation that resonates softly with the earth, with the sky, with your own breath. You float through these currents, letting each pulse brush against your chest, letting the heat settle tension, letting the motion of energy guide your awareness into calm presence. Clouds drift lazily above, tinted with muted gold, violet, and soft rose. Embers float past them like tiny stars, leaving faint trails of light in their wake. You follow one drifting ember, watching it coil in gentle spirals before sinking softly into a mountain valley. It feels as if every spark carries a story, a soft memory of effort and care, settling quietly into the world, reminding you that even struggle, even shaping, leaves traces of beauty. The mountains themselves seem alive, responding to the touch of the Titans. Stones shift with a soft murmur, valleys expand and fold, and the air vibrates faintly with the weight of transformation. You drift above the peaks, noticing the subtle shifts in shadow and light, the soft shimmer of embers reflected in the stones. The entire landscape moves like a slow breath, rising and falling with careful attention, carrying the lessons of balance and patience into every corner. The Titan's hands reach skyward again, lifting currents of fire into the heavens. Sparks swirl like tiny comets, following gentle arcs before returning to Earth in delicate showers. Each ember feels alive, like a note in a soft, endless song, carrying warmth, calm, and intention. You float among them, letting each tiny spark brush your awareness, letting every flicker carry away tension, every wave of heat settle your mind into stillness. In distant valleys, soft clouds gather over cooling rivers of stone. The embers continue to drift, coiling in delicate spirals, settling into pools of soft warmth. You notice how the light bends gently, tracing the contours of mountains, flowing into valleys, illuminating hidden corners. Even the shadows hold gentle energy, bending into soft patterns, carrying a quiet reminder that balance exists in every part of the world, that every movement contributes to calm beauty. Above, the sky deepens into twilight, stars faintly visible through the drifting smoke and light. The Titans pause, resting hands on cooled peaks, letting energy flow slowly through the landscape. You feel the rhythm of their calm presence, the gentle pulse of creation, and it settles into your chest. Every breath slows, every thought softens, and the world feels wide, infinite, yet tenderly safe. Small animals move quietly through the warm shadows, carrying memory of the fires and the embers in careful steps. Birds fold their wings and settle on branches, feeling the soft currents of energy in the air. Even insects pause in gentle arcs, caught in the quiet dance of light and heat. You drift among them, carried by the rhythm of life unfolding, noticing how every creature, every spark, every mountain fold participates in the lullaby of creation. The Titans rise slowly, lifting embers higher into the sky, letting them drift like lanterns into the fading light. Each spark glows softly, illuminating clouds and peaks, valleys and rivers, leaving a trail of calm in its wake. You float among these trails, feeling warmth and light touch your awareness, settling every corner of your mind into gentle stillness. Now rest as the fires that forge the skis settle into quiet warmth. Let the mountains, the valleys, the embers, and the clouds cradle your spirit. Let the rhythm of creation, slow and deliberate, guide your breath. Let us drift onward through the luminous landscapes and gentle skis into the soft embrace of dreams, where even struggle is calm, even effort is beauty, and every spark carries peace. A quiet mist hovers over the river at twilight, soft and silvery, curling slowly along the water's surface. You drift gently above it, feeling the cool, calm air brush against your face. The river flows endlessly, bending through valleys and forests, reflecting clouds, stars, and distant mountains. Each ripple is a soft whisper, carrying memory, carrying wisdom, carrying peace. The banks are lined with smooth stones and gentle reeds that sway softly in the quiet current. You notice the reflections of ancient forests and distant skis, mirrored perfectly in the water. The river hums with a slow rhythm, a heartbeat that carries the echoes of past struggles, the quiet triumphs and lessons of gods and titans. You float along, letting the motion carry your mind, letting every ripple brush away the weight of the day. Above the river, the gods drift silently, their forms luminous and soft, their hands brushing the water as it passes. Each touch sends ripples outward, carrying subtle warmth and light across the surface. You feel the gentle vibration in your chest, as if the river itself is breathing, inviting you to slow, to rest, to drift with the currents of memory and serenity. The river bends through forests that whisper with life. Leaves sway softly, birds glide lazily in the fading light, and small animals move with quiet care along the banks. Each movement feels in harmony with the river, as if every creature knows the gentle rhythm of the water and respects its slow passage. You drift among these echoes, feeling a sense of unity and calm, a soft knowledge that all life moves together in quiet conversation. Light glimmers across the ripples, scattering into small diamonds of warmth. You notice how each reflection seems to carry a story, fleeting visions of distant skis, soft shadows of mountains, the subtle glow of embers from divine fires. The river holds these echoes tenderly, letting each shimmer float gently downstream, where they will mingle with other memories, other lessons, creating a soft tapestry of wisdom. The gods pause occasionally, letting the river guide their gestures. Fingers skim the surface, tracing arcs of light that curl and bend with the current. The water responds, ripples forming delicate circles, overlapping and intertwining like a conversation in motion. You float among these ripples, feeling their calm resonance wrap around you, settling thoughts and softening tensions, guiding every breath into even, slow rhythm. Shadows stretch softly along the riverbanks, bending around reeds and stones, around trees and moss. The reflections of the gods blend with clouds above, with the light of the setting sun, forming a gentle mosaic that shifts with the flow of the water. You drift through this mosaic, feeling yourself dissolve into the gentle patterns, carried by the steady, patient motion of the river. A faint murmur rises from the water, the echoes of past conflicts now softened by time. You hear distant laughter, the quiet clash of energies, the soft vibrations of power flowing and subsiding. Yet these sounds are not alarming. They are gentle reminders, whispers of wisdom, invitations to let go, to float, to follow the gentle guidance of the river. Each ripple holds a story, each wave a lesson, and together they hum a lullaby of calm. The river narrows and widens, curves around mossy stones, and spills over small cascades that glimmer like liquid silver. You float closer to the surface, feeling the subtle lift of each wave, the soft kiss of moving water against your awareness. The gods watch silently, their eyes reflecting the subtle light, their presence a steady current that guides every ripple, every reflection, every whisper of movement. Mist rises from the water, curling gently around the gods and the river itself. It carries the scent of distant forests and quiet rains, soft and calming. You float among the mist, letting it brush against your skin, soothing every tension, softening every thought. The river and mist move together, weaving patterns of gentle energy, carrying you deeper into quiet presence, into stillness and soft surrender. Along the banks, reeds bend and sway, catching the faint reflections of stars and clouds. You notice the subtle motion, the delicate arcs of each leaf and blade of grass as the water flows past. The gods' gestures send small ripples across the surface, and the reeds respond, bending in gentle agreement, moving in harmony with the currents. Every motion is soft, deliberate, and rhythmic, a meditation of water and life, of light and shadow, of calm and reflection. Small creatures stir near the river's edge, frogs resting on mossy stones, birds gliding lazily above, fish weaving through quiet pools. Their movements blend seamlessly with the flow of the river, creating a symphony of slow motion. You drift alongside them, feeling the collective rhythm of life, noticing how even the smallest ripple, the faintest motion, carries harmony and gentle energy, contributing to the river's serene song. The river curves again, widening as it passes through a valley of soft green hills. Sunlight glimmers faintly across the surface, highlighting arcs of ripples, reflections of clouds, and the gentle movements of the gods' hands. You float through this light, letting it brush your awareness, letting warmth and shimmer settle into your mind and body, carrying a quiet sense of balance and calm. Occasionally, a ripple forms a perfect circle, expanding and merging with other circles, carrying the echoes of movement upstream or from distant shores. You watch as each circle gently touches another, blending reflections, blending light and shadow, blending stories of the past into a soft tapestry of understanding. You feel your breath slow, your mind soften, your body settle into the gentle rhythm of this endless river. Above, the sky darkens softly into indigo, dotted with the first stars of evening. Their reflections stretch across the water, sparkling among the ripples, weaving with the echoes of the gods' movements. You float among these reflections, feeling your awareness mirror their calm shimmer, carrying every thought into the slow cadence of the river. Even shadows here are soft, bending around stones and reeds, forming gentle curves that echo the endless motion of flowing water. The river flows steadily, unhurried, carrying both reflection and memory. You notice how each ripple holds lessons of balance, patience, and quiet resilience. The gods' gestures continue, subtle and measured, sending faint arcs of energy across the surface, guiding the water into soft, deliberate patterns. You float among these arcs, letting each one touch your consciousness with a gentle weight, a soft caress that eases every tension and quiets every thought. Mist drifts once more, curling across pools and cascades, brushing the riverbanks and lifting toward the trees. Its scent carries calm, earth, water, and distant flowers. You drift within this gentle mist, feeling yourself carried on the river's currents, floating through reflections of stars, light, and the gods' quiet movements. Each breath matches the rhythm of the water, slow and even, grounding you in the peaceful flow of existence. Now rest, as the river of endless echoes continues its soft journey through the valleys, forests, and hills. Let every ripple carry away worry. Let every reflection guide the mind into gentle understanding, and let the quiet wisdom of the gods cradle your spirit. Let us drift onward, following the gentle currents of light and memory into the calm embrace of sleep, where every ripple becomes a soft lullaby and every echo returns peace. A soft twilight blankets the valley, where stone temples stand in quiet dignity. Their walls are weathered by time, touched with moss and the gentle brush of wind. You float slowly above the valley floor, the air carrying the subtle scent of ancient stones, of quiet incense, of lingering calm. Each temple seems to exhale a soft presence, a reminder that history rests here and all is safe. The pathways between the temples are lined with smooth stones and soft grass, bending gently under the faint breeze. As you drift along them, the light shifts slowly, glinting off carved reliefs that tell stories without words. Figures of gods and titans, frozen in silent grace, move in your imagination, each gesture a lesson in balance, patience, and the subtle art of restraint. You follow the flow of these stories, letting your breath slow with each soft arc of memory. Columns rise into the fading light, tall and serene, casting long shadows that curve gently across the valley. Their surfaces are etched with faint patterns, symbols that hold whispers of battles long past. Each mark hums with quiet energy, yet it is calm, almost lullaby-like. You drift alongside the columns, noticing how the shadows sway with the wind, how the stone seems to hold its breath, letting time pass with gentle patience. The temple's steps, worn smooth, lead to open halls where the air is cool and still. Light filters through latticed windows, scattering across stone floors in muted patterns of gold and silver. You drift softly across these floors, feeling the echoes of long-forgotten chants, the subtle vibration of prayers offered in quiet devotion. Each step, each breath, carries the weight of history, yet the weight is softened, carried lightly by the calm presence of the stones themselves. Soft winds stir the banners that hang between columns, their edges brushing against each other with faint whispers. The fabric moves like a gentle tide, a slow conversation between wind, stone, and memory. You drift through this quiet dialogue, noticing how the motions of air and cloth reflect the rhythm of the valley, the gentle pulse of a world that remembers, yet does not demand. Each flicker of movement carries a subtle lesson. Stillness can hold strength, and silence can cradle life. Inside the central temple, the altar rests under a soft canopy of light. Carved symbols trace the walls, and faint incense smoke coils upward in delicate spirals. The air here hums with quiet resonance, the kind that settles into your chest and soothes every thought. You float closer to the altar, feeling the gentle weight of time carried in stone, in air, in every lingering shadow. Here, all conflicts are remembered but softened, every struggle contained in calm reflection. In the courtyards, small pools of water mirror the fading sky, reflecting columns and banners in quiet arcs. The ripples move slowly, disturbed only by the gentle touch of wind or a drifting leaf. You follow the movement, letting each ripple carry tension away, each reflection guide your mind toward serenity. Even the smallest details, the flutter of a leaf, the shimmer of light across water, remind you that peace exists in every corner of the valley, waiting to be noticed and received. Outside, stone steps lead to terraces where mountains rise gently around the temples. Clouds gather softly at their peaks, brushing stone with mist and shadow. You drift higher above the terraces, feeling the subtle shift in air and light. From this vantage, the temples seem like guardians, keeping watch over the valleys and the riverbeds, holding every story in quiet presence. You float in the calm expanse, carried by the gentle rhythm of the wind and the soft hum of stone memory. The carvings on the walls tell of struggles that shaped worlds, battles between gods, titans, and spirits. Yet here, in the hush of the valley, their stories are gentle, transformed by time and attention into lessons rather than conflict. You trace the images with your gaze, letting each figure, each gesture, teach you about patience, restraint, and the beauty of enduring calm. The history here is alive, but it moves slowly, like water flowing over smooth stones, touching and reshaping without haste. Birds stir softly among the trees at the edges of the temples, their wings brushing leaves and stone in delicate arcs. Their flight mirrors the rhythm of the valley, gentle and deliberate. You drift alongside them, noticing how every movement complements the stillness, how even motion carries peace. The air hums faintly with the combined energy of life and stone, each breath a gentle note in a lullaby of time and presence. Sunlight wanes further, casting muted violet and amber across the valley. Shadows stretch longer, curling softly around steps, columns, and courtyards. You float through these patterns, feeling how light and shadow intertwine, teaching balance without words. Every curve, every hue, every subtle shift in brightness seems designed to slow the mind, to ease every tension, to prepare the spirit for soft rest. The central hall offers a view of the distant mountains, peaks catching the final rays of sun. Mist rises from the valleys, curling softly around stone and tree. You drift above this scene, noticing how the temples nestle into the landscape, how the stones seem to breathe with the rhythm of the world. The air carries quiet warmth, the scent of moss and cooling stone, the gentle echo of prayers once spoken and now resting in calm. A faint echo of distant drums drifts through the air, slow and muted like the heartbeat of the valley itself. You let it guide your breath in and out, slow and even. The rhythm blends with the sway of banners, the flow of wind through columns, the soft ripples across water. Every element, every movement carries the same gentle lesson. History can rest, struggles can soften, and the spirit can find sanctuary in presence. Stone lanterns, carved in delicate patterns, glow faintly along the pathways. Their light flickers softly, casting muted warmth across moss and stone. You drift along these paths, letting each lantern guide you, each glow a gentle hand leading your mind and body toward stillness. The valley is alive with quiet energy, yet it is calm, deliberate, measured, a place where even echoes of the past settle into soft repose. The temples themselves seem to hum with subtle vibration, a resonance that carries through stone and air. You drift among halls, courtyards, terraces, and pools, letting each vibration touch your awareness. It carries memory, history, and quiet presence, transforming it into something soft, something gentle, something restful. Every breath matches this rhythm, every thought slows, every corner of awareness drifts into ease. Outside, the sky deepens to indigo, stars appearing faintly above the temple peaks. Their light glimmers across stone and water, reflecting softly in the pools and on smooth steps. You float among these reflections, feeling their calm touch settle into your mind, softening every edge, easing every tension. Even shadows hold warmth here, bending around columns and walls in gentle arcs that cradle the spirit. Now rest, as the temples of silent witness continue to hold the valley in quiet presence. Let the stones, the banners, the water, and the air cradle your mind. Let the lessons of history, softened by time, drift into your awareness, teaching patience, balance, and peace. Let us drift onward through the glowing halls and quiet courtyards into the gentle embrace of sleep, where every echo becomes a lullaby and every shadow returns calm. The night spreads slowly, like soft velvet, over the quiet valleys and distant hills. Stars begin to appear, tiny points of light that shimmer gently, each one holding the memory of ancient struggles. You float above the earth, feeling the cool, calm air brush your skin, carrying the soft scent of night blooms and distant rains. The world beneath is still, and the sky above hums with quiet stories waiting to be heard. As your eyes follow the first flickers of light, constellations take shape, delicate and luminous. Each star seems to pulse softly, a heartbeat of memory that echoes across the cosmos. These are not merely lights but storytellers, carrying the tales of gods and titans, of battles long past, of courage and loss that shaped the world. You drift slowly among them, letting your mind absorb their calm energy, feeling your thoughts settle like gentle stones in a quiet river. The Milky Way stretches like a silver ribbon across the sky, winding through clusters of glowing stars. Each cluster carries the resonance of a story, soft, unhurried, and filled with the subtle lessons of time. You float closer, feeling as if the light brushes against your skin, soothing every tension, every thought. The whispers of past battles are gentle here, not harsh or urgent, but like lullabies sung softly across the cosmos. You notice how some stars form the shapes of warriors frozen in celestial dance, their gestures calm and poised. They do not move with anger but with balance, each stance a lesson in restraint and grace. You drift past them, letting the patterns guide your awareness, letting your breath slow to match the rhythm of these luminous figures. Even the echoes of struggle here are soft, carried by light, transformed into wisdom and serenity. Below, mountains and forests rest in shadow, and rivers gleam with faint reflections of starlight. The night wind moves gently, rustling leaves and sending ripples across water. It carries whispers of courage and loss, lessons of patience, and reminders of the gentle power in stillness. You float within this flow, feeling the wind and the starlight intertwine, wrapping your mind and body in calm presence. Some stars twinkle more brightly, as if sharing small fragments of a story, a flash of valor here, a hint of sorrow there. You follow their shimmer, letting each flicker become a soft word in a cosmic conversation. Constellations shift slowly, forming arcs and circles that ripple across the sky, connecting moments of the past into a gentle narrative. Your awareness moves with them, drifting, softening, resting. The night air is cool against your cheeks, carrying distant sounds of nature. An owl's call, the faint rustle of small animals, the gentle sigh of leaves. These sounds mingle with the soft hum of starlight, creating a lullaby of quiet motion. You float within it, each note settling into your chest, calming every thought, every worry, every tension. Even the echoes of battles past feel safe here, carried in light and shadow rather than harsh noise. A comet glides slowly across the sky, leaving a faint silver trail that lingers for a moment before fading into the darkness. You follow its path, feeling the gentle pull of motion, the way light travels through space, touching everything in its slow, deliberate sweep. The comet's journey is calm and rhythmic, a reminder that movement and change can be gentle, that even the stories of war can become stories of grace. Stars cluster near the horizon, forming the outlines of great titans and gods. Their figures are frozen yet alive, glowing softly against the deep blue of night. Each one speaks in whispers that drift like soft wind through the cosmos. You listen as the echoes of courage, of choices, of care and restraint reach you, soft and even, teaching lessons without haste, allowing your mind to drift, to rest, to float. The constellations form quiet dances, their motions almost imperceptible, arcs of light moving in slow conversation. You drift among them, feeling each gentle movement touch your awareness. Every flicker of light carries memory and wisdom, but it is calm, deliberate, like the slow turning of a page in a book written by time itself. You let your breath match the rhythm, slow and steady, in harmony with the dance above. Below, the earth is dark and serene, yet the faint glow of rivers and lakes mirrors the stars above. You notice how the night seems to reflect itself everywhere, water, stone, and sky blending into quiet symmetry. You float along these reflections, feeling how the echoes of past struggles are held softly in this mirror, transformed into calm, into understanding, into peace. Clouds drift slowly across the horizon, soft and translucent, brushing against the constellations. Their motion is deliberate, gentle, a lullaby of quiet shadows that complement the starlight. You drift among these clouds, feeling the soft edges pass through your awareness, touching each thought and softening it, carrying it downstream into stillness. Occasionally, a star pulses more brightly, sending a whisper across the dark expanse. You follow it, letting each pulse guide your awareness deeper into calm. The voices of gods and titans reach you, not in noise, but in quiet suggestion, reminders of courage tempered with patience, of strength softened with care, of power held lightly. You float with these whispers, letting every vibration ease your mind. The night deepens further, stars multiplying, their reflections mirrored in rivers, lakes, and the calm eyes of mountain pools. You drift above, feeling the soft balance between reflection and light. Every ripple in water mirrors a flicker of the sky. Every shadow carries a glimmer of stars. You notice how each element teaches harmony, patience, and the quiet power of stillness. A soft breeze lifts, stirring the night air and carrying faint scents of jasmine, pine, and cool stone. You float within it, noticing how even the smallest movements, the brush of wind, the shift of clouds, the shimmer of distant stars, carry lessons of calm and grace. The echoes of past battles fade into gentle energy, carried in light, shadow, and air. The sky forms new constellations as minutes pass, subtle shifts in arrangement that create quiet new patterns. You float through them, noticing how the dance of stars continues without hurry, without tension. Even in recounting stories of war, the sky remains serene, reminding the spirit that every struggle carries soft lessons. Every challenge transforms into guidance when held in calm awareness. Now rest as the stars speak their quiet truths, carrying the stories of gods and titans across the night sky. Let their gentle light and whispered echoes settle into your mind and body, letting every flicker, every constellation, every soft pulse of memory carry you deeper into rest. Let us drift onward through the tapestry of light and shadow into the tender embrace of sleep, where every star becomes a lullaby and every whisper returns peace. Twilight spreads softly over the lands, a tender wash of lavender and gold across mountains, rivers, and forests. The air hums gently with the last warmth of day, carrying the faint scent of evening flowers and damp earth. You float above a valley where light bends slowly, brushing every tree, stone, and river with calm. The world seems to exhale, letting go of strain, easing into quiet contemplation. The gods and titans, once restless with struggle, drift now in this gentle light. They do not clash with anger, but meet with serene understanding. You watch as their eyes soften, as each movement slows and stretches like a ripple across still water. Even their great strength seems tempered by twilight, reshaped into patience, into the careful rhythm of harmony. Rivers catch the fatting light, glimmering softly like threads of silver weaving through the valley. You drift closer, noticing how the water reflects the calm of the sky, the slow dance of light and shadow. Each ripple carries the echoes of battles past, yet the sound is transformed. Now a lullaby of reconciliation, gentle and soothing, inviting every spirit to rest. The mountains surrounding the valley hold their peaks like quiet sentinels. Shadows stretch long, blending into soft violet and indigo, while sunlight lingers on crags and ridges with delicate warmth. Titans and gods move among these heights slowly, as if touching the stones themselves, acknowledging the history carved into the world. Each gesture is gentle, a whisper of understanding, a reminder that even conflict can give way to peace. You float among them, feeling the soft weight of their presence. Every glance exchanged carries no tension, only recognition of shared journeys, of lessons learned. Light glimmers across the folds of their robes, across the ridges of their powerful forms, highlighting the delicate balance between power and grace. Here, the world holds its breath in quiet, suspended peace. The forests sway softly with evening wind, leaves brushing each other in hushed conversation. You drift past their branches, hearing the whispers of nature that echo the reconciliation below. The titans bow gently to trees, their hands tracing the bark with slow reverence. Gods kneel beside pools, touching water and watching ripples extend outward in calm patterns. Every action, every movement feels measured and soft, a dance of harmony rather than assertion. In the central glade of the valley, light softens to a warm violet glow. Here, a great circle forms where beings once at odds now meet in quiet acknowledgement. Their voices, if heard, are low and melodic, like distant flutes carried on wind. You drift within this circle, sensing the transformation of old tensions into mutual understanding. The air itself hums with a soft resonance, a lullaby for those who have carried burdens too long. Birds glide slowly above the glade, their wings tracing gentle arcs through the sky. Their calls are muted, soft echoes that mingle with the quiet of the earth and the whispers of divine beings. You float alongside them, feeling your own heart slow to match their rhythm. Every beat, every breath, aligns with the calm unfolding across the valley, teaching that even great conflicts can resolve into gentle balance. The rivers mirror the twilight sky, silver fatting into deep blue, reflecting gods and titans as they move with slow dignity. You drift over these waters, noticing the way light dances on ripples, the way reflection softens form and shadow. Here, all struggle is held in tender memory, the lessons of courage, restraint, and compassion flowing like gentle currents toward peace. Mountains glow softly where twilight touches peaks, clouds brushing them with subtle silver edges. You float among the heights, feeling the wind carry warmth from sun-kissed stones. Titans lean lightly against cliffs, feeling the solid presence of the earth beneath them, grounding old tensions into stillness. Gods extend hands in calm gestures, creating subtle arcs of energy that ripple softly through the valley, a quiet bridge of understanding. In the distance, a waterfall murmurs quietly, its water spilling in soft, rhythmic patterns over stones worn smooth by ages. You drift near, noticing the way the sound blends with the quiet presence of beings below. The spray touches your skin lightly, carrying cool serenity. Even the water seems part of this reconciliation, moving in steady grace, reminding all that motion can exist without agitation, that flow can be calm. Light softens further, stars beginning to appear in the deepening sky. Each star seems to whisper fragments of history, small stories of courage, of battles met with restraint, of conflicts resolved through understanding. You float among them, letting each flicker of light guide your thoughts toward serenity, toward acceptance of the gentle rhythm that now surrounds all. The glade glows with soft lanterns, floating on air and water alike, casting muted pools of light that curve over grass and stone. You drift past them, noticing how shadows soften around their glow, how each corner of the world seems to yield to gentle illumination. Here, nothing presses, nothing demands. Even the echoes of war now settle into soft patterns of reflection and calm. Titans and gods stand quietly, gazing across the valley, their forms reflected in pools and rivers. You float above, sensing the quiet acknowledgement between them. The air carries the faint scent of evening blossoms, mingling with the coolness of stone and water. Every inhale brings peace. Every exhale releases the remnants of past tension. The valley itself seems to breathe with gentle ease, a soft rhythm carrying all toward rest. Birdsong drifts faintly, carried from distant groves, blending with the hum of the evening wind. You drift along the gentle currents, feeling the music of the world align with your own slow rhythm. The soft interplay of light, sound, and presence teaches that reconciliation is both delicate and profound, a quiet turning of attention that reshapes even the heaviest histories into calm. You notice how even small movements of leaves, small arcs of light across rippling water, small gestures of beings in the valley create subtle patterns of serenity. Each one touches you, nudging your awareness toward quiet reflection, toward gentle ease. Here, in the tender embrace of twilight, all struggles dissolve softly into understanding. The sky deepens, stars brightening, their constellations forming arcs of memory and wisdom. You float among them, feeling the night's quiet embrace. The stories carried in these stars are soft, gentle, devoid of sharp edges. Each whisper of courage or lesson of restraint settles in your chest, teaching calm, patience, and the subtle grace of harmony. Now, as twilight fades completely into night, the valley rests in soft shadow. Rivers shimmer faintly with reflected starlight, mountains loom in gentle silhouettes, forests murmur quietly with the night wind. Gods and titans linger in gentle presence, their forms calm and receptive, carrying lessons of peace into eternity. You float among them, cradled in the lullaby of the valley, your breath slow, your mind soft, your spirit at ease. Let us drift onward, through the muted glow of night, past rivers, forests, mountains, and silent watchers. Let the gentle presence of reconciliation carry your thoughts into stillness. The soft echoes of understanding soothe your heart, and the quiet rhythm of twilight guide your mind into deep, tender sleep. Now rest, as the stars return, and the world holds its gentle promise of peace. Twilight dissolves fully into night, and the sky stretches wide and quiet above. Stars shimmer gently, scattered like soft lanterns across a deep velvet canvas. You drift above the earth, floating through the cool evening air, feeling the last whispers of light fade into shadow. Everything is hushed, as though the world itself is preparing for gentle dreams. The valleys, forests, rivers, and mountains rest beneath this sky. Each leaf, each ripple of water, each stone seems to inhale slowly, letting go of the day's weight. You glide past hills touched with moonlight, soft silver washing over their gentle curves. The lessons of titans and gods, their struggles now resolved, linger in the atmosphere like a quiet hum, a lullaby of patience, courage, and understanding. Clouds drift lazily across the heavens, their edges glowing faintly as though lit from within. You float among them, feeling the softness of their presence, a cushion of tranquility beneath your spirit. Every movement is calm, every breath slow and steady. Even the winds move gently, carrying scents of night-blooming flowers, warm earth, and distant forests, coaxing the mind into rest. Below, rivers glimmer with reflections of the stars above. You follow their quiet paths, noticing the way each ripple seems to carry a memory. These waters hold echoes of the ancient struggles you have witnessed, the rise of titans, the gestures of gods, the quiet reconciliation of conflicts long past. And yet, in their gentle motion, there is no tension, only serenity, a reminder that every story can settle into peace. Soft music seems to rise from the world itself. The faint hum of leaves brushing together, the trickle of streams over smooth stones, and the whisper of distant waterfalls create a rhythm that matches your heartbeat. You float among these sounds, letting them sink into your mind. Each note is gentle, unhurried, guiding thought away from concern, drawing attention to the present calm. Mountains loom softly on the horizon, their silhouettes tender in the moonlight. The peaks, once witness to struggles of might and fire, now hold only stillness. You glide closer, feeling the cool stone beneath imagined fingertips. Light scatters over crags and ridges, highlighting the patient endurance of the world itself. Here, conflict is a memory, and wisdom is the quiet gift that remains. The sky shifts imperceptibly, moving from deep navy to the softest indigo. Stars glimmer with a quiet rhythm, as if breathing slowly with the world below. You float past constellations that have long watched over the stories of gods and titans. Each star carries a soft message, courage tempered by patience, strength balanced with care, struggles that become lessons, and lessons that bloom into peace. Across valleys and forests, lanterns of light drift slowly. They hover above rivers, among trees, and beside stone temples, illuminating corners of the earth with a soft, reassuring glow. You drift alongside them, noticing how shadows bend and stretch gently beneath their touch. Every corner of the world is softened by their presence. Every thought of past tension melts into the warm embrace of harmony. The forests murmur quietly. Leaves brush each other with tender rustling, a conversation of night itself. Owls glide silently between branches, their wings tracing arcs of calm. You follow their flight, feeling a lightness in your own chest. Even the creatures of night seem aware of the peace that now fills the world, moving in slow, deliberate grace, echoing the quiet rhythm that guides your spirit. Waterfalls and streams shimmer softly, reflecting moonlight in slow, glimmering patterns. You drift over their surfaces, noticing the delicate balance between motion and stillness. Every ripple carries a lesson, every curve of water a gentle reminder that life flows at its own pace, that even the loudest currents can find calm as they meet the sea of rest. The temples of ancient stone, once holding memories of divine battles, now radiate quiet presence. You float among their silent walls, noticing the carvings and etchings that tell stories without words. Here, the weight of history rests lightly, and the heart feels safe. Light flickers softly across stone floors, as if the past itself sighs in relief, and you are invited to do the same. Gentle winds carry the scent of jasmine and night-blooming petals. You drift alongside them, allowing each breath to sink into the lungs and soul. Your body grows lighter, your thoughts slower, as if carried on soft currents toward restful horizons. Each inhale draws calm, each exhale releases all remnants of tension or worry. You notice the sky now, deep and endless, dotted with stars that shimmer faintly, each telling a story of courage, of compassion, of understanding. They speak without sound, and yet their messages are clear. Every flicker of light reminds you that harmony can emerge from struggle, that peace is always possible when attention turns softly to understanding and patience. Mountains, forests, rivers, and skies, all the elements of this world, move in gentle, deliberate harmony. Even the wind seems to bow and bend, embracing the curves of earth, trees, and water. You float among these elements, letting their rhythm align with your own. Every motion, every breath, every sound coalesces into a quiet lullaby that guides the spirit towards sleep. The gods and titans, now distant but ever present in memory, settle into gentle forms of watchfulness. Their struggles are remembered, yet softened, and their lessons drift like faint echoes across valleys and hills. You sense their presence as a gentle warmth in the air, a protective hum that ensures the night remains safe, that dreams will carry peace. Stars flicker softly above, casting a silver glow that spreads across rivers, mountains, and fields. You float among them, touching the light with fingertips of imagination. Every star seems to mirror a heartbeat, slow and steady, guiding the mind to softness, guiding the spirit to calm. Each one carries a whisper: rest, peace is here, you are safe. Rivers, waterfalls, and lakes shimmer in gentle reflection. Light moves across their surfaces in slow patterns, reminding the world that motion need not rush, that even currents can carry serenity. You drift over them, letting their quiet song enter your mind, letting tension dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Forests sway lightly in night wind, leaves brushing with tender touch. The world seems to sigh with relief, its breath long and calm. You follow the patterns, feeling a gentle rhythm form with your own breathing, a lullaby for the soul. Even the smallest leaf or ripple joins the chorus of peace, echoing through every fiber of your being. Now the temples, rivers, mountains, and stars blend into one vast field of gentle light and soft shadow. The memories of myth, of divine struggle, of titans and gods all settle into quiet harmony. You float through this space, carried on gentle winds, your mind slowing, your body light, your spirit at ease. Let us drift onward into night's embrace. Let the lessons of courage, patience, and understanding guide each breath. Let the gentle presence of stars, rivers, forests, and mountains lull every thought into calm. Sleep now, and carry the whispers of eternal harmony into dreams that bloom slowly, softly, endlessly. Now rest, as the night spreads wide and the stars return. Let the world hold you in quiet, gentle embrace, and let the heart drift on winds of peace, carried toward gentle, tender sleep.